in big trouble. If we don't raise the debt ceiling, our credit rating is going to be dropped from AAA, and we're going to see a huge stock market drop. We saw the huge stock market drop anyway. If I could predict the stock market, I'd be a stockbroker. But what would happen is, even if we quit borrowing money today and our credit rating got dropped, we would eat up all the savings we've made through cuts just to increase interest rate. Because we haven't borrowed money out until we're due to pay it back. When you buy treasury notes, you buy them for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year, 5 years, 20 years. And all of that stuff comes and gets rolled over. So if the interest rate we have to pay goes up, no matter how much we cut, the interest rate on that money is going to go up. So you really have to avoid that downgrade in debt and getting the investors all concerned. You've also got to realize that no matter what facts you choose to believe, the market is driven by psychology. And if the investors are freaked out, you're in trouble. The interest rates are going to go up and the stock market's going to drop. I'm really surprised the stock market this week is done as poorly as it did, because I think we reached not the best compromise, but a compromise everybody could live with. And that's another, let's talk for a second about compromise. I went up to Washington saying, I'm not going to compromise my principles, and I don't think I have. I've talked to a lot of Tea Party folks who are really upset with the way that I didn't vote not to raise the debt ceiling. But again, like I said, I'm worried about this country. If the rates we pay for federal money go up, that trickles down to adjustable rate mortgages, what you pay on your credit card. Stock market drops, it eats up your savings and your 401ks. And this was a game of Russian roulette with the United States economy and with every one of your money. And I chose to err on the side of caution rather than speed. In fact, you don't eat an elephant in one bite. You eat it up. You eat it up slowly. And this was a big leverage point we have, but this isn't the only leverage point we have. We're going to continue to cut spending. Under the Constitution, all appropriations start in the House. We passed the Ryan budget, the Path to Prosperity budget, that has more cuts than this anticipates. And as we appropriate, we're appropriating out of the Ryan budget. We've got an open rule on all the appropriations where any congressman can enter amendments. There are a lot of amendments that cut spending, and I'm voting yes on almost all of those. So I'm working to get it down in a reasonable time frame that doesn't risk everybody's livelihood, our credit rating, and your investments. And the other thing I'm telling the Tea Party folks, and that I'm telling you, because this isn't just a Tea Party issue, this is an American issue, the long-term solution to our financial health in this country is a balanced budget amendment. Almost every state has a balanced budget. We see the problems of ones that don't, like California, have. Texas lives within its means. The U.S. needs to live within its means. Let's quit focusing on fighting with each other because we're not cutting fast enough when we all agree we need to cut, and start focus our energy on getting the balanced budget amendment passed. That really is the key to the long-term fiscal health of this country. And I can tell you when it passes, it's not going to be easy because we're going to have to make a lot of hard decisions and a lot of hard cuts. But the mentality in Washington, and it is staggering to me, is there are a lot of people still up there that think we got to bring home the bacon to the district and that we've got to buy votes with federal spending. And that's not what I went up there with. That's not what any of my Republican freshmen went up there with. But even some of the Republicans are scared to make some of the cuts because they're afraid they're not going to get reelected. And you got to tell yourself it's not getting reelected that's important. You work hard to get reelected, but you do what's right for the country. Like I said, I think I'd have been politically better off with the base of people that support me had I chosen to vote no for the debt ceiling. But that was like playing Russian roulette, I think, with the American economy. And I didn't think it was best for the country. I got another bug? All right, so that's kind of the background on the hot topics. And I really do, I sound like I'm defending it. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was also really a huge win. We've changed the attitude in Washington from not whether to cut, but how much to cut. Even the president and the most liberal folks in Washington acknowledge we've got to cut, and our deficit is a huge threat to our country. That's a huge win. The vote on the balanced budget amendment, huge win. There hadn't been a vote in the United States Congress on the balanced budget amendment in 15 years. 15 years ago, it failed by one vote. So if we can get that one vote, we really are on a true path to prosperity. And if we don't get that vote, we will know in November of 2012 who voted yes and who voted no. I think you're going to find all your federal representatives that represent this area, me, Kay Bailey Hutchinson, and John Cornyn in the Senate, are all going to vote yes. But if you believe like I do in the balanced budget, you're going to need to pick up the phone and talk to your friends and relatives in other parts of the state and other parts of the country and convince them that they need to exercise their right at the ballot box. I've talked way longer than I intended. We build this as a listening session. I want to listen to what you have to say, and I want to answer your questions.